Many consider the Streets of Rage trilogy to be the best beat-em-up series in the genre, and I am among those. This sentiment was cemented by the release of Streets of Rage 4 in 2020. Which brings us around to why we are here today, the Sega Vintage Collection, Streets of Rage. Released back in 2012 on Xbox Live, the Sega Vintage Collection packs in Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, and even lets you play the overseas version, Bare Knuckle. The original Streets of Rage, when released in '91, blew everybody away. The game centers on three ex-cops trying to rid Wood Oak City of an evil crime syndicate run by the elusive Mr. X. Gameplay for the series is pretty simple: attack, jump, and the clear screen attack. The clear screen, in keeping with the ideals of civilian safety, the player calls in backup who rolls in anywhere: the streets, a warehouse, the beach, a boat, and launches a missile into the action. You take control of Adam, Blaze, and the iconic Axel across 8 levels, ridding the streets of crime, each character having their own strengths and weaknesses. Adam is kick-heavy and quick, Axel the most well-rounded, and Blaze is by far the fastest of the three. Streets of Rage pushed the blast processing power of the Genesis to the max and set the bar far and above everything else at the time. If you're into retro gaming and beat-em-ups, start here. Once you've tore your way through the original, I'd heavily suggest jumping right into Streets of Rage 2. Released in '92, and as awesome as Streets of Rage was, the sequel was that much more. Losing Adam but gaining Skate, Adam's younger brother, and Max Thunder Hatchet, along with returning favorites Axel and Blaze, brings the starting lineup to 4. Expanding on everything from the first, the game ditches the clear screen attack and gives each character their own special, unique move. You're not limited like the first in just 1 per life, but now it costs a small bit of life, making spamming it a double-edged sword. In addition, each player also gets a blitz attack they can do by double tapping forward before attacking. The game is set a year after the first, and Mr. X and the Syndicate are back to poisoning the streets. Mr. X abducted Adam, which explains his absence, and everyone sets out to save him and put an end to all the bullshit going down in Wood Oak City. Streets of Rage 2 really doubles down on the cyberpunk Neo-Tokyo vibes started in the first. And everything about it is accentuated by the soundtrack, reaching even new heights in the sequel. At the time it was released, it was considered revolutionary and is still thought of as one of the best video game soundtracks ever. So even if beat-em-ups aren't your thing, this is a must-play for any gamer. Where do you go after playing one of the best 16-bit video games ever? Streets of Rage 3 had huge shoes to fill after Streets of Rage 2. Widely considered not as good as predecessor, and most of the reviews at the time reflect that, it's still regarded as one of the best games on the Sega Genesis ever. Released in '94, Streets of Rage 3 is the final game in the original trilogy. It also features a number of changes over the second, including longer levels, faster play, a tweaked special move system, and a higher difficulty level overall. They even tried to beef up the plot with more cutscenes and player dialogue to give more depth to the story. You have 4 players from the start: Axel, Blaze, Skate, and Dr. Zan, replacing Max. Later on in the game, you can also unlock Rue, a boxing kangaroo, and Shiva as you play through. Streets of Rage 3 features alternate ending as well, which is pretty cool and adds to the replay value of the game. But if you're playing on easy, you can't go past stage 5. It cuts it off and makes you start over on a higher difficulty level. Streets of Rage 3 is an awesome game, no doubt. But as reviews showed, it really felt like an upgrade pack to Streets of Rage 2. Which, given how awesome it was, isn't really a bad thing, per se. Just unfortunate that it wasn't able to shine more on its own when released. So there you go, the Sega Vintage Collection, Streets of Rage, packing in number 1, 2, and 3. Well worth it for any beat 'em up fan. Available on Xbox Live right now. So if you liked the video, please force push like, ring the bell, and remember, programs, never let the IRL get you down too much, and always have fun out there on the gaming grid.